lives and teachings of Saljey Rinpoche. Saljey Rinpoche was born in Tibet, and when he was young, he did 3-year retreat, and he has a lot of great masters. And afterwards, he went to Palpung Monastery in the Tibet, second largest monastery in the Karmakaya tradition in the Tibet, and he studied there with his eminence Taisutupa Pema Ongcho Jalpo, and the second Jamgung Gongdu Rinpoche, and Beru Chenzo Rinpoche, many study under many great masters, and he studied about Buddhist philosophy teachings, and also special Vajrayana tantric texts and all the practice. And after that, he spent many time in the retreat. Almost half of his life spent retreat. He's really great master. And normally he's holding prayer wheel in right hand and holding mala in left hand. And when I was 13 years old, I think 13 years old, I moved to 11 years old, I moved to Shrubling in India. And he was there, Saljey Rinpoche was there. My father introduced me to him, and my father asked me to receive teaching also from Saljey Rinpoche. I told him, and they know each other, and Saljey Rinpoche was very happy, and he's giving me a lot of teachings, even before 3-year retreat. And normally I mentioned Saljey Rinpoche was, using prayer wheel and mala, and I followed to sleep, And people, many people say, oh, Saljey Rinpoche is a great master, But when you look at him, looks like he loves sleep, sleep, follow to sleep all the time. But actually he's what we call this special practice of luminosity, and he's doing that. When he followed sleep, whatever we ask question, he hear. Sometimes we have lot of questions. Like me, sometimes I have some questions and I have some long stories. And first he said, okay. That if new student, they thought, oh, master is already fall to sleep. We have to go out. But for us, we don't care. Continue to ask question. Question number 1, 2, 3, 4. After finish this all the questions, and he woke up, and he gave us all the answers. Very clear. Sometime when we ask question during his sleeping, the answer is more clear during his waking state. And one time we were receiving third Karma Pass prayer, Mahamudra lineage prayer, and he's giving this teaching for few weeks. And he said, oh, maybe I will finish tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow. And next day he said, oh, I finished today. And we didn't prepare anything. And he said, oh, okay, thank you. And he finished teaching, and he said, this is the end of the teaching. We should pray. There's one long prayer called Zangjut Malam, the prayer of the noble conduct. And we try to pray that, because no text, we don't have text. Actually, we have to memorize this prayer. I already memorized when I was at 9 years old, something like that. I thought, oh, it's okay, that time I was 12 years old. I thought, okay, pray. The middle of prayer, we lost. 5 of us, we lost, and we keep quiet, looking at each other. And Saljey Rinpoche already fell asleep before that, And he woke up and continued pray the next sentence, He pray next sentence continued and fall asleep again. And his teaching, his main teachings about Mahamudra, meditation, Mahamudra, very clear, very profound, and simple also. Clear, profound, and simple. Very nice. And when I was 13 years old, I joined 3-year retreat, and he was my main teacher for 3-year retreat. And he gave me all the teachings about Mahamudra, 6th Narva Yoga, and then all the deity practice like Chakra Sambhara, Vajrayogini, and Red Arya Avalokiteshvara, all those things. Complete for 3-year retreat teaching. And end of my retreat, almost finished, maybe 3 or 4 months left. And he come to retreat. He said, I'm going to Nepal, and I'm very, very appreciate what you, all your practice, And now I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm really rejoice your practice, appreciate what you've done. Say goodbye. We thought, why? Almost like feeling like I'm not going to see you again, something like that. And he gave all the advice. He went to Nepal and died in Kathmandu.